Hello, fellow programmers. Today, yet another C Sharp exercise. This is an exception handling exercise from the book C Sharp How to Program, Chapter 13, Exercise 4. Very quick. Write a program that demonstrates how various exceptions are called with catch and exception X. In other words, this is a generic, like a default exception. It catches all the exceptions. Before we could use maybe like out of memory exception or attempt to divide by zero exception. But we won't specify any exception. We will simply catch all of them or any of them. This is gonna be very quick. Here we'll simply throw a bunch of exceptions. We will try, and we will purposefully throw new, and you can choose any exception we want. How about format exception? All right, so we throw in format exception, and now in the catch, instead of uh, actually catching format exception specifically, we'll catch exception. And I'll call the exception EX. The object exception will be EX. And now we can use console dot write line. This is going to be our error one, and we will add to it the message from our exception. In other words, it should say error one and then formatting exception. I'm getting error here actually. Oh, this is of course I'm missing the parentheses. Okay, so I do console so that read line to pause the screen and see if this is gonna work. Again, we throw in an exception on purpose, and it will catch in it with a generic exception class and displaying the message that the class generates based on this particular exception. Error one is just our string that we add to it just for so we see that this is indeed being processed in this line. So let's run it, and we get error one. One of the identified items was in invalid format. So this is error one is what our message, and the rest of it is the system message specific for this error. We can throw some more exceptions. Let's just throw two more. We can throw, I don't know, execution engine exception. I'm not even sure what that is, but let's do that. And over here, we got the format exception, and the last one, we can do index out of range exception, for example. So we have a execution engine exception, format exception, and index out of exception. And each of them is called simply by using the exception class. And we'll add the numbers just so we see which one is being thrown. And when we run it, we should get three messages. Error one, internal error in the runtime. So that refers to our execution engine exception. Error two, one of the identified items was in invalid format. That refers to our format exception. And finally, index was outside the bounds. That refers to our index out of range exception. What does this say? It's absolutely well. Like I said, this is not really an exception. We throw it in manually, so we can throw something else. It wouldn't matter. Insufficient memory exception. Let's see what that does. All right. So if I run it, ooh, insufficient memory to continue the execution. My poor computer. Anyway, as you can see, this was very quick. Like I said, we simply go through a try block. We throw an exception, and then we'll throw it and catch it in the exception class, and we will display our message concatenated with the system message for each of the exceptions. So I hope it helped you, and I will see you next time. Take care.